to start off with, though, assessing risks.
Yeah. So this isn't always directly spelled out in your cybersecurity liability insurance questionnaire as, do you assess your risks? But we wanted it to be the number one because to me, this is almost a precursor. It needs to happen whether you're about to fill this out or about to call somebody for insurance, or if you have insurance and you're getting a questionnaire. The key is, and we have them here on the slide, is understanding what data you have. And this is actually going to really drive the fourth item, compliance requirements, because when you're dealing with cybersecurity liability insurance, you need to understand what you're expecting. The insurance provider wants to understand what you expect of them, and you need to understand what data you have. Do you have PII data? Do you have medical data? Credit card data? Government compliance data? Fill in the blank, right? So understanding what kind of data you have is important. Knowing the value of your data, it's almost intrinsic. There's a lot of basic understanding that a social security number, a name, a date of birth is bad, right? That's a value, right? So if that's your key focus on PII data, that type of data, that's one type of value. What if you're talking about PHI data, medical information? Now there's fines associated to those type of data breaches. So that's a different type of value. Understanding what your value's worth out there in the world is one aspect. The other aspect is understanding what kind of financial penalties you could fall under if you were to lose that data, and then understanding the threats. So, if you don't use product X, there's no reason in trying to mitigate risks for product X, right? A lot of these cybersecurity liability insurance questionnaires may list things that, do you have MFA enabled on product X if you use product X, and there's a whole three or four question section on product X, but you don't use product X. So understanding where your risks actually are makes filling out those forms a lot simpler. And I touched on it a minute ago, but compliance requirements can, it's almost two pieces, right? You can have cyber liability insurance over here, and then your compliance risk assessment over here. You really can't, they're not always exactly synced. So you almost have to understand it from two different angles, but we help with that with compliance assistance services as well.
So, and Brenda, maybe you want to jump in here, but when we're talking about potential threats in the current landscape, for the small business organizations that we typically work with, what are maybe the top one or two biggest threats in the landscape right now?
I mean, off the top of my head, business email compromise and ransomware. I think that's the kind of things that folks think about when they're trying to fall asleep or something like that. That, like, what if that happens? What do we do? And that's going to be universal across probably every business and every vertical that there is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's true. It still accounts for the vast majority BECs, the vast majority of compromises.
Business email compromise, where people are clicking on something in an email they shouldn't be, or somebody's impersonating someone on the other end of an email that is trying to get you to click on something, or maybe divert funds somewhere that you shouldn't. So